Laili, you have a question?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah.
You said just now that if once a treaty has been signed, so it's bound to the members. So, but can a member at once they feel they dissatisfied with the content and they want to withdraw himself from the treaty?
No, not
Uh,
treaty.
Not
Ah,
treaty.
not treaty. Right.
So what about EU treaty yang because we have Brexit kan? So they withdraw themselves from being the one of the EU countries.
Yeah, Brexit.
The Brexit, yeah. So
Ah, that's different.
so that is different.
Ah,
So
ah.
you explain.
Ah,
Right.
let me help you understand. It's okay, Laili. I understand your questions. All right. Let me say this way. Right. When the treaty is offered for you to sign, the treaty is already done. You can't complain. Either you take it as the face value or that's it. You don't sign at all. That is treaty in the nature of international law. But behind that is these activities. This is the procedure. All right. When you want to create a new treaty at international law, usually the appointment, let me give you an example of a treaty in order to answer your question, called UNCLOS 1982. Not that I like it, but because this is the best example. All right. UNCLOS 1982, it's open for signature in 1982. UNCLOS 1982 open for signature, meaning that semua orang datang nak sign, alright, okay, in 1982 December 10 in what was the place? In Africa. Bukan Montevideo. Okay, I lupa dah, nenek dah tu. Okay, it was open in Africa. Soon I remember it. Okay, right. Now, when it's open, but the work is not done that day. The draft that is 320 section of UNCLOS have been done, all right, 24 years before. Oh, dengar tu, 24 years before it opened for signature. Because it's going to cover all ocean in the world, all bay, all coast of the world. That's why it is the best constitution left in the 21st century. All right, okay, let me go back again. Now, what was the procedure? In 1958, they discovered there are some loopholes at sea that caused the World War I and World War II. All right. In 1958, by looking into how the sea was running and how the sea plays a role in the war, they had this Geneva Convention Law of War 58. But that is not enough. It doesn't cover all other activities. So in 1976, the United Nations has already been created, 1945. They sat down, they asked, they send in information, all right, they asked the whole world through the facts, all right. Masa tu saya dah sekolah, all right, I wait dekat facts machine. The facts come in and it takes you about 12 to 6 hours to wait for the facts to finish. What is in the facts? Questions asking the government, all right, at that time, what is your state doing or action to license to measure anything to do with the ship, anything that you can answer, right? At that particular time, United Nations was well respected, all right, because of their achievement in bringing peace. So all countries will be answering them back. Right. So all this information is gathered in 1969. They look into it and they realize, all right, the one that leads to war is because some country has protection in the sea, some country have less protection from the sea. So they have to make some standard rules so that all states will have enough similar standard of protection from the sea or at the sea. All right. Okay. So they codified all this information. That is in 1960, 1969. Alright, all the time sampai 1979. 10 years they do that job. Alright, because the fax machine are so slow. Right? Okay, so in 1979, United Nations appointed a body legislature to draft out, because the law said it must be selected people. All right, these people who gather, they are administrator. The drafter are different people. So they appoint a selected people. These are called the Seabed Committee. They are the committee legislature. So the legislature sat down in 1979 to draft out one by one of the sections sampailah 320. The moment they have done that at the end of 79, they then send that draft to the state. So most states received it, including Malaysia. Still by now, the facsimile machine has changed into an Epson. Alright, belum lagi komputer. Komputer pun sama lambat dengan fax. Alright, okay. Alright, so all this draft, the draft in 1979 was sent. The draft was 320 already. Provision 1 sampai 320. Malaysia look at it and Malaysia find certain things that Malaysia doesn't like. Malaysia and the gang, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, all right, then are 3 independent country in 1979. Singapore has already merdeka, all right. Okay, they were together, these tiga beradik, 3 coastal states in the world of the law of the sea. They sat down, they say they don't like the fact that, all right, number 1, Straits of Malacca is a common sea. No, Strait of Malacca is not an international strait. Straits of Malacca to these 3 states in the South Asia yang ada banyak states tu, these 3 states objected that it should be called strait used for international navigation. 1979, Malaysia sent, bukan protest, a request that the status of Strait Malacca is not an international strait, but the status is SUFIN. So the control is in the states. But if it's international state, you can't tax it. In the SUFIN, SUFIN, state used for international navigation, all right, still you cannot tax, but you got a control over it. Meaning that nobody can smuggle anything without us catching other smugglers. All right, it can't be used for all the illegal activities. We must have respect for our streets, right? That one was accepted in 79. All right, that's how you change it. You change before it open for signature. All right, this part selalunya kita terlupa nak cakap. Right? Okay, so Malaysia request for the changes was accepted. Malaysia request for 3 changes. And it's agreed by our close neighbor Indonesia and Singapore. Malaysia said, if Malaysia fly or the kapal, all right, flying the sea or flying the air, all right, passing through one state territory in the middle, you don't have to ask permission. You want a regular flight, straight away. So if Malaysia Timur going into Sabah and Sarawak by plane, passing Natuna Island that belongs to Indonesia, all right, or from Malaysia going to some part of Riau that belongs to Malaysia, some Malaysian, some are not, passing through Singapore, they don't ask to have permission. Agreed by Indonesia on Natuna, agreed by Singapore, and that becomes the proposal number 2 to change the condition. So United Nations accepted that. All right. Number 3, there are certain reservations that Malaysia reserved with regards to Straits of Malacca and the other sides of Malaysia into South China Sea. All right, that is with regards to the Admiralty. Okay, so you see all 3, all right, repair, amend, change of the provision that is drafted by United Nations are all accepted. There are also other countries who have these are not at the end reservation. These are because it has not been open for signature. So when kita punya participation of changing a little bit of your interest come into the picture, they changed it. Then Malaysia signed in the 82. After Malaysia signed in 82, Malaysia sent its reservation and ratification in 94. The UNCLOS come into practice, come into enforce in 1996. All right. So you see, we are still. That's how you make changes. The changes to the treaty must come before the treaty is open for signature, but reservation must come before the submission of ratification. All right, boleh? Itu satu. Right, now answer question Laili. Question Laili, in the situation of Brexit, right? In the beginning, England signed the European Union trade, all right, the European Union. But later on, after a few years, right, they decided that they're wasting too much money. They opened the country and subjected it to too many. They call the European foreigners. All right, we call, apa lagi kita? They call the European the foreigners. All right, okay, the foreigners will be come and taking over their job. At the same time, they want the privilege of buying a cheaper land with no or less tax in European land. England is always very cold or rainy and wet, all right? But European city, some of them have 4 seasons, 3 seasons, all right? They wanted the warmth, the cheap, all right? It's cheap living compared to in England, all right? So they want to retire in Europe, but they don't want European to come and work with them, all right? So these are the two interests that is very pertinent in the situation of European Union. So the public agree with the government, decided that the treaty that they are signed to be members to European Union does not bring advantage to them. Only 1 or 2 advantage, that the rest are not. Even when it comes to currency, England has a stronger currency than in Europe currency. So you see, they wanted to be suspended from, they wanted to be out of the treaty that they've signed and ratified. Okay, that treaty allows, the treaty European Union allow you to back away from the agreement that you have signed, because the treaty allows. The treaty also allows, the Treaty of European Union also allows Britain to submit their proposal. Even though they are no more a member to European Union, they can still get the privilege. That's the second part. All right, the Brexit has no problem. All right, you can be out because the treaty allow you to be out, bukan expel, to be out. Expel you kena buang. Suspended you tak nak for a while, tapi now you pull back away from England, from the European Union. Allow that. Tapi yang jadi masalah ialah there is a time period given for you to negotiate on the privilege that you think you want to honor. That privilege itulah yang dia tak boleh decide. Right? In the beginning, they thought there were only 2 privileges offered by the European Union. Tapi they have already made a decision that they do not want to be member. Okay, you can pull away from being a member even though you dah ratify ke apa, provided the treaty itself has a provision allowing you to escape that. So in the Brexit, they allow. Right, Brexit is Britain acceding away from the Treaty of European Union. Right, so the one that they failed to, jadi dia kena keluar juga, alright, without the agreement. But they negotiate again, over and over. Berapa kali Prime Minister tukar, they cannot come up with this privilege that they're supposed to be the agreement. Now it is an agreement. Now it's no more a treaty because you do not want to be a member. You just want 1 or 2. But this 1 or 2, the government cannot agree. Kat sini mahal, kat situ tak boleh, kat sini tak suka. Some people. Then again, in England, every decision is made not by the government. every decision, law is made through the court. The court have allowed the government to negotiate, to represent the state, all right, to submit this memorandum to the European Union. But they have failed to do until today. All right. Okay, that anger the rest of the member of England. Member dia siapa? The Wales. Member England siapa? Scotland, Ireland. So this island, they wanted the treaty. They wanted to pursue. That's why they wanted to be out. They say on this matter, we want to be independent from the rest of England. Can they do that? All right. That is for their country to decide. They have to take the matter to allow Ireland, all right, to conduct and continue with the European Union treaty. Now, that's the situation of Brexit. It's handing over the memorandum. Memorandum, once this group of represented government think about it, agree on it, presented it to the court, and then the court say, okay, boleh hantar, then hantar. Remember, they don't have a constitution. Their government is not the one that makes decision or law. It is the court. It's not the queen. Right? Okay, it's the court. So now we know in England they have a big problem. That one has not finished. All right, the European Union now with Merkel is no more the lady with a kind heart. All right, it's now people are not waiting. They keep giving the dates. And one day the date will materialize and English people will walk. Either they are making an advantage to themselves or disadvantage to themselves. What can we? All right, my grandparents are British, but I'm not. I'm Malaysian. Right? Okay, I don't have that money to live in England, but my husband lives in Brussels. All right. Okay, but anyway, that's a different situation altogether. So you see, that is a treaty. That is maybe one of these days we wanted to look into. But because Brexit situation has not finished, so as a law student, law lecturer in a law matters, we can't have it as an example. But thank you for asking. Right. Any questions?
Thank you, Prof.
All right. So next one, we have finished on the element. Now let's look into, okay, kalau the akta, let's look into the act. The act is the one very important for you to admit to look into. All right. Okay, bear with me sekejap. We'll look into section 2. All right. Okay. Look into section 4. Oh, it says non-retrospective. Retrospective. Tak ada patah balik. The day you sign, you look ahead. The law cannot cover all matters before the treaty was signed. That's all it says. Right? Look into Article 5. All right? I'm reading the Vienna Convention. You can see it in front of you. Treaty constitute international organization and treaty adopted within an international organization. The present convention applies to any treaty which is the constituent instrument of an international agreement, to any treaty adopted within the international organization without prejudice. Meaning that if a state has signed with an international organization, like Malaysia, for example, have signed a treaty, the Treaty of International Maritime Organization. This is treaty with regards to navigation. All right, Malaysia never signed any of it, but Malaysia is bound to follow it because the treaty have already come into enforce. But IMO is not a state, but IMO is only an international organization. All right, the member is as many as United Nations organization. So it's a big treaty. All right, that is coming into enforce. So therefore, when Malaysia's ship navigates into the other the sea in the Pacific Ocean or the sea that leading to England and Europe, all right, they have to abide by the rules that is enforce the Hague-Visby, the Hague rules, the Hamburg rules, the Rotterdam rules. We have to abide by it. This is what I mean. Sometimes you have to know what are the treaties that is enforced throughout the world. All right. We have only a certain numbers, and it is found in the International Law Book, all right, published by Tengku Sophia Jewa. All right. Okay. Dia ada dua black book of the public international law. During the time when she wrote that book, she listed out all the treaties that is enforced and will be related to Malaysia and the rest of the world. Right? Tapi today, that book need to be, the number of the treaty enforced in the world need to be updated. Right? Okay, so the updated version, the number of treaties that has already come into enforce, all right, may be held in the office of AG Chambers International Division, maybe, all right? But I don't have any particular use, so I don't have the list, the latest list. But that is what it means in Article 4, and that is what it means in Article 5. We have looked into Article 6. So bear with me, all right? Article 7. Article 6 says, state possess the capacity. So it must be the state. What does it mean? What does that state possess mean? Who is the state? State can be, all right, the state itself according to the Federal Constitution. Who represent a state? The Yang di-Pertuan Agong. In some situation, it is the Prime Minister. In some situation, it is the Yang di-Pertuan Agong with the advice of the Prime Minister or the government. I look into the constituents, the constitutionals of the state. In England, they don't have the constitution, but the legal system says, who is this state? It's not the Queen. All right. It's according to the law, usually the power to sign on behalf of the state of UK is the Exchequer. The Exchequer. All right. Unless the state names otherwise. The court names otherwise. All right. The Queen will be advised and told, all right, or informed. All right. But it is not the Queen that signs. Yeah. Okay. In England, who is the highest authority? The court. Right? Okay. Now let's look into full power. What does full power means? A person is considered representing a state for the purpose of adopting or authenticating the text of a treaty or for the purpose of expressing consent. Jadi, how do you reflect free consent? Through Article 7, by showing that the person who have free consent is the person who have full power for adopting. All right, that is when a treaty need to be assent or authenticated. That is a situation when the treaty need to be signed or ratified and ratified. Right? He produced appropriate full power. That is, mana you nak dapat ni? Through the constitution of the court. In America pun sama. All right, they look into the constitution, or it appear from the practice of the state concerned or from other circumstances that their intention was to consider that person as representing the state for the purpose and to dispense with full power. All right, bunyi macam ni. What does it mean? A person who have been given watikah to act for the state. A person who have been given commission to be appointed as representing to the state. Okay, so who can have the full power? Open up your constitution and look at it. It can be anybody. Can it be anybody? All right. Okay, no. All right. It has to be a person as described in the federal constitution for a country like Malaysia. Right? Okay. Ini or. Nampak perkataan or. It can be a person who is named already, all right, by the states through the federal or the court, or it is a person who have the appointment or the commission. All right.